Frans, jump in on this because market manipulation is a delicate question. And it was interesting, when I was in Davos, I asked the United Kingdom's Labour leader, Keir Starmer, about this specifically, and he suggested that the markets need something like an inverse OPEC when it comes to gas prices in Europe. How difficult, in your mind, would it be to accomplish something like that?
Well, I think we have to be very careful to tinker with market mechanisms that have been, for instance, the electricity price, it took us 30 years to put it together in Europe. So, of course, we need to change it now because the components of the determination of the price are no longer comparable to each other. In other words, with a high gas price and a very low price of renewables, the average electricity price doesn't really reflect the real market situation, something we need to correct. But I don't think we should become, in market terms, very interventionist, because once you start down that road, you then immediately get confronted with the question, who gets what gas and electricity? And if you take the market out of that, you create an incredibly complicated situation, which the Chinese tried it for once and they had endless blackouts because of that. So we have to be very careful not to go down that road. Corrections will be necessary, but don't throw away the baby with the bathwater on the markets is my strong plea.
You don't see price caps in the future?
Well, our leaders decided to establish a price cap. I'm not a great believer in that, frankly. I think what we need to do, if you have a 100 BCM hole in the market, a price cap will not bring the price down. The only thing that will bring the price down is reducing your energy consumption and speeding up your transition to renewables. So I think that is the real answer to this. At the same time, what irks me, what I really find worrying, is that we just seem to be just prodding along, everything's going fine, and just look what's happening in the Antarctic. Just look what's happening in the Arctic. What's happening there now will have a huge, huge effect on us within 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And we cannot afford that to happen and to continue to happen. What happened in Pakistan is not going to be a one-off. That's where we are now at 1.2 degrees. Can anybody imagine where we would be if we let it go to 2 degrees? We just, and this is where I sometimes despair, that I don't see this sense of urgency in industry. I don't see this sense of urgency in many governments. Yes, we now have a war on, so we have other urgency. The climate crisis is not going to be sort of halted because there's another priority. And I hope there is a nascent sense of urgency in our society. We need to take that to our wider economy. And I agree so much with Robert. It's not a matter of money. It's a matter of priorities. It's a matter of risk-taking. It's a matter of wanting to invest in this transformation. And, if we don't do this, there is no doubt in my mind that my kids, my grandkids, will be fighting wars over water and food. There's no doubt in my mind. So if we are at a security conference, take that angle into the discussion as well. Why aren't we doing that much more than we're doing? Climate is security. It's the same thing. How many millions of refugees are we willing to take because some parts of the planet become uninhabitable? How many hunger epidemics will we tolerate because parts of the world can no longer cultivate agricultural production? Think about that. That should create a sense of urgency, not the cost of the transition.